Billy Crystal has been making us laugh for over 4 decades. Over the span of his impressive career ruling Hollywood's comedy scene, the beloved actor has boasted a number of accolades, including 5 Emmy Awards, a Tony Award, and the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. And while the comedy giant is still selling out theaters, he's been pretty quiet lately. Off camera, Crystal has been busy with a full family life, a return to the stage, and book writing. Let's dive into some of the details of the funny man's life that even his devoted fans may have missed. The age factor. Crystal made his highly anticipated return to film in 2012, starring opposite Bette Midler in Parental Guidance. But getting studio execs to sign off on the family comedy wasn't as easy as you'd think. Unfortunately, age played a factor. Crystal told the New York Times in 2013, "When you get to a certain age, they, hesitate a bit. They're not sure there's an audience. I said, there's 77 million people wanting a story for them." Admitting that the industry simply may not view him as a dazzling romantic lead anymore, he jokingly added, "It's not easy to go through that when you can't get the girl anymore." As Crystal noted, the film marked an end to a decade in which he didn't star in any films. He claims this was partly his decision and partly the studio's decision. Focused on writing. Crystal further distanced himself from the spotlight when he switched focus to write his 5th book, Still Foolin' 'Em: Where I've Been, Where I'm Going, and Where the Hell Are My Keys? Part memoir, part stand-up comedy essay, the 2013 book highlighted Crystal's uneasy feelings about getting older as he approached the age of 65. He told the New York Times at the time of its release, "I have more to talk about and feel secure with myself enough to say, I'm just like you. I found it very freeing. I'd read the book and go, should I? Yeah, why not?" With his refreshing honesty, warmth, and beloved brand of humor, the actor's book became a bestseller and garnered rave reviews. TV show tanked. Crystal ended his 30-year hiatus on primetime television in 2015, starring as a version of himself on The Comedians.
This is my 40th year in the business. The best part I've had is playing me.
Unfortunately, the comedy suffered low ratings, and the FX show was unceremoniously canceled in 2016 after 1 season. To add insult to injury, the network didn't even release a statement. Instead, showrunner Ben Wexler made the announcement on Twitter, writing, "The Comedians is canceled at FX. I could not be more proud of the work we all did." Hit the road. Between 2016 and 2017, Crystal spent much of his time bringing his acclaimed show Spend the Night with Billy Crystal on tour in Australia and the United States. But this wasn't your standard stand-up comedy show. In a statement via Broadway World, the comedian said, "There's stand-up and sit-down, which gives me great freedom to tell stories, show film clips, and talk about my life and career and the world as I see it. The most fun I've had on stage in a long time." Between stories from his life, classic impressions, and even talk of current events, the sit-down portion of the show included interviews with other famous faces. Bonnie Hunt, for example, joined Crystal at a number of stops in the US. Freak health accident. Crystal was temporarily put out of commission in the summer of 2017 after a night when he, sneezed. The comedian explained on Kimmel why he'd been forced to postpone his scheduled appearance a month earlier.
Out of the blue, Jimmy, I sneeze. But a violent sneeze. And I went, that hurt a little bit.
When he woke up hours later, he had difficulty breathing, and it turned out he tore a rib muscle during the sneeze. Crystal noted that this is not an injury anyone would want to brag about.
I didn't rescue, a woman out of a burning car. I didn't catch an orphan falling out of a burning
Not even
orphan.
close to any of those things,
I sneezed.
Turning it around. Crystal may have spent much of the 2010s out of the spotlight, but it looks like his big screen prospects are finally shifting back into place. In addition to penning, producing, and starring in the Jim Henson Company's animated film Witch Witch, Crystal signed on to star as a once-renowned Broadway composer who's down on his luck in the comedy Revival. He will also star opposite Ben Schwartz as an alcoholic dermatologist in We Are Unsatisfied. Crystal told the New York Times, "All that time you go, God, am I slipping away here? And then something great happens. You get a call and work begets more work." Thanks for watching. Click the Nicki Swift icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.